EIGRP. EIGRP means Enhanced Interior Gateway Routing Protocol. Enhanced Interior Gateway Routing Protocol. Enhanced Interior Gateway Routing Protocol is an advanced distance vector routing protocol that is used on a computer network to help automate routing decisions and configurations. The protocol was designed by Cisco Systems as a proprietary protocol, available only on Cisco routers. EIGRP is used on a router to share routes with other routers within the same autonomous system. Unlike other well-known routing protocols such as RIP and IGRP, only sends incremental, reducing the workload on the router and the amount of data that needs to be transmitted. So basically this EIGRP is designed on IGRP protocol. First the RIP protocol came, then RIP has lots of drawbacks, lots of problems. Then Cisco designed its own protocol, it is called IGRP. But IGRP was also not a good protocol, like it has also some drawbacks. So for coming up with this, for coping that drawbacks, for resolving those drawbacks and those problems, they have now introduced EIGRP. It is the enhanced version of that interior gateway routing protocol. So basically the IGRP was the distance vector protocol. So this one is also distance vector protocol. It is not like OSPF as link state. So it is still distance vector protocol, but it is having more advanced features than normal IGRP. Now because of this EIGRP, Cisco has dropped that IGRP. Now IGRP is not used on routers. So because we have now enhanced version, so we don't need IGRP. So Cisco is not using IGRP, it is only using EIGRP. It is much more advanced routing protocol. Only drawback this protocol has is that it is the proprietary protocol. It is designed by Cisco Systems, so it only works on Cisco devices. You are not able to use this on any other devices or any other company devices. It works on only Cisco devices. OSPF is company, it is industry standard, and we can use it on any protocol, any routing device. But it has also drawbacks. OSPF has a drawbacks of complexity. That means it is complex, it is using complex, it is you have to make a design for it, otherwise it is very difficult to do that. It has it put lots of load on the router for doing the routing. Conversions times are still not good at this as this EIGRP. EIGRP's conversion time is very fast, apart from these other protocols. Then OSPF also has only one matrix, that is cost, but EIGRP has 5 matrix. IGRP had only 4 matrix, but EIGRP has 5 matrix. So it is very advanced protocol, very good protocol to support a big network, easy to configure, easy to manage, but it is a proprietary protocol. Now these are the features of this EIGRP. EIG supports classless inter-domain routing. That means it is also a classless routing protocol. Also it supports variable length subnet masking. Routes are not summarized at the class full network boundary unless auto summary is enabled. So auto summary, the route summarization which we have in OSPF, we can also do it here. But for doing only route summarization, we don't have to make areas. In OSPF, you have to make areas to do the route summarization. But here for EIGRP, you can do it from anywhere. You don't have to make areas. You don't have to divide your single autonomous system into multiple different areas to just do the route summarization. You can do it anywhere. It supports in class full networks also. And if you are having auto summary, if you are having auto summary enabled, then it will try to do auto summary. But if you are having different networks, then auto summary will not work. You have to calculate it and configure the auto summarization. Then it supports for load balancing on parallel links between sites. Now, load balancing, the OSPF and other protocols do what? They can support load balancing on same equal links. Equal links, that means if you have a, let's say if you are using RIP, and if you have two paths which have the same hop count, so it will use those two paths. It will use two paths, that means it will do load balancing between those two paths. And even if we use OSPF, or if OSPF finds that two paths have a same cost, then again OSPF will use both the paths, and they do what? Load balancing. But here EIGRP do what? It can do load balancing on unequal paths also. Unequal paths. For example, we are on this router and we want to go to this network. So we have three paths here. This one, this one, this one. For example, if I configure RIP. Now if I configure RIP, so RIP will check what? It will check the hop count. Now hop count is the matrix of RIP. So what it will do? It will try to calculate the hop counts. Now hop counts means if it goes from this path, so the hop count 1, hop count 2 and hop count 3. Now if it goes from this path, so hop count 1 and hop count 2. So what is the good path? So I can say this is the good path for this RIP. But if we check this path, so how many hops are there? So 1 and 2 again. Now RIP will say like these two paths are equal. So what RIP will do? It will not use this path which is bigger. It will use these two paths, and both the paths will remain in the routing table. And what it do? It do the load balancing. That means it can use both the path to send the data. That means if it sends the data, so one packet will go from here, so one packet will go from here. So it will divide the packets into both the links equally because the paths are equal. OSPF will also do the same. If these two paths are equal, like it will calculate the cost. The OSPF matrix is cost. So if OSPF sees that okay, both the paths are having the same cost, then what it will do? It will do the load balancing for these two paths. How load balancing? Load balancing, that means if the paths are equal, so it will send the packets equal to the both links, like one packet to this link and one packet to this link. Now OSPF can do what? To make your transmission fast if you like. Now this is not by default enabled, but if you like, then you can use unequal paths. For example, I don't have this, I have only two paths. For example, I don't have this link, I have only these two paths, but these two paths are not equal. If I go from here, so let's say my matrix is 50, 100, and if I go from here, so my matrix is, let's say, half of that, that means 50. Now what? This one is faster one, so I will go with always this one. But if I want, then I can also use this other link for load balancing in EIGRP. That means this is the best path, which is 50, and the other path is what? 100. It is double of that best one. So it can use this unequal, so parallel paths. Now what it do here? How it do the load balancing? It will do like this. Like this is the fast one. It is the 50 one. It is the link which is having 50. So what it will send one packet to here. Now if it sends two packets here, so it will send one packet on this link, because both links are not equal. So what it will do, when it sends one packet here, so this link is double the fast, it is double of this slow link. So it sends one packet into this slow link, so it will double the packet on the other faster link. So one packet will go from here, then 2 packets will go to here, then one again go from here, and 2 will go from here. So once it will send the packets, sends the data, so one it is send 1 here and 2 here, because this link is double the faster than this. It is having it is faster than this link, and it is what, double fast. So this is also, we have a benefit of EIGRP, that it can use unequal paths also for doing the load balancing. All other routing protocols do what? They use equal paths only. They can use only equal paths, but EIGRP can use unequal path. But that is not enabled by default. We have to enable it. If you want to do that, then you have to enable it manually. So it supports the parallel links between sites. Then the ability to use different authentication passwords at different times. Now authentication, that means when we configure the OSPF or RIP version 2 or EIGRP, then we can do authenticate the packets between two neighbors. So when the neighbors communicate to each other, so we can configure authentication also. And authentication, that means the neighbors will make sure, that the data coming from the other neighbor is authenticated. So this will do what? Normally RIP or OSPF can support single authentication at the same time, but here it is the ability of using different password. Here we can use different password authentications. It use MD5 authentication between two routers. MD5 is the hashing algorithm. So when it sends the data of authentication, or if it sends the data, then it hashes the data into with this hashing algorithm MD5. So it will become more secure. So if anyone gets the data in between, they will not able to crack it. Then sends the topology changes rather than sending the entire routing table when a route is changed. So when the routing table changes, like when some network comes or go, it uses the trigger update to send the information to other router. It will not wait for the update time. So it will also use this EIGRP, also use the hello protocol. So always they are sending hello messages, and every time they send whatever the changes are, they send it. Now after a particular time, they sends what? The update of routing table. Now other routing protocols like OSPF or RIP, they send the entire routing table. Entire routing table, that means whatever the network they have, whatever they have disconnected, they send every information. But EIGRP does not send the entire routing table. Entire routing table sending can be difficult. You know, when you are having thousands of routing table, in your routing table, if you have thousands of entries, then sending every time the all entries, it is not good. So what it do? It only sends the information that changes. That means you are having 1000 entries in your routing table, but only one changes. So it will send only one information. It will information about that only one network. It will not send information about the whole table. It uses decremental update. Then periodically checks if a route is available and propagates the routing changes to neighboring routers if any changes have occurred, and runs separate routing protocols for Internet Protocol, IPv6, IPX and AppleTalk. That is also one advanced feature here in EIGRP. It also checks the periodically, that means always it sends the hello messages for the route changes in the neighbor, and also it can run the routing protocol, different routing protocols for different protocols of this. It can run the routing for different protocols. OSPF and RIP can support only IP or IPv6, but EIGRP can support IP, IPv6, IPX and even AppleTalk also through the use of protocol dependent modules. This is called PDM. So if you want to support IPX or AppleTalk, you need basically protocol dependent modules that depends on these different protocols. Normally we use IP, but in case we need, then we can use IPX and AppleTalk also. It is supported here, which is not supported in RIP or OSPF. Then backward compatibility with IGRP routing protocol. Now if you are having some routers configured already with this IGRP, then it can support that one also. It supports the backward compatibility because both are the Cisco protocol. Then uses reliable transport protocol. It is called RTP for communication. It is reliable because it has one matrix which is reliability also. Then hello packets for neighbor discovery. So it uses also hello protocol and it also sends the hello packets to the neighbors. Then administrative distance is 90, and that is why this administrative distance value is less among all the other protocols. Remember, administrative distance value decides that which paths router will choose. If you have different administrative values, so it will choose the path which is having less AD value. So if you see, RIP has 120, OSPF has 110, IGRP is 100 and EIGRP is 90. So among all these protocols, this EIGRP is more reliable. That is why it is having the AD value of 90. These are the features of OSPF, EIGRP. EIGRP overview. This EIGRP is an advanced distance vector routing protocol, and this protocol is an evolution of an earlier Cisco protocol called IGRP, as I said, which is now considered absolute. That means now we don't use IGRP. EIGRP supports classless routing, VLSM, route summarization, incremental updates, load balancing, and many other useful features. It is Cisco proprietary protocol, so all routers in a network that is running EIGRP must be Cisco routers. This is the only drawback we have for this EIGRP. Now routers running EIGRP must become neighbors before exchanging the routing information. Now just like OSPF, first all the routers must become the neighbors. Then they can send the routing information. Now to dynamically discover neighbors, EIGRP routers uses the multicast address of 224.0.0.10. In other hand, OSPF uses two multicast addresses. Two multicast addresses, one for DR and other one for non-DR routers, which is 224.0.0.4, 0.0.5 and 0.0.6. But EIGRP uses only single one because there is no election happens here. There is no election, there is no DR, BDR. So it is not putting any extra load on a router. You know, when we configure OSPF, first they select the DR, BDR, they do elections, then they do change the routing information. It is very process intensive and it put lots of load on processor. Now each EIGRP router stores routing and topology information in 3 tables. Now in EIGRP we have 3 tables. In OSPF, in ERIP we have only 1 table, that is routing table. In OSPF we have 2 tables, neighbor table and routing table. We saw neighbor table by using show IP route command, and neighbor table routing table by show IP route command, and neighbor table by using show IP OSPF neighbors command. It shows the neighbor information. But here EIGRP uses topology table also. It stores the topology table also. This topology table has the information about all the learned routes from the neighbor, and this will help to create to reduce the convergence time. It will help to reduce the convergence time. So neighbor table stores information about EIGRP neighbors, topology table stores routing information learned from the neighboring routes, the routing table stores the best route. Now administrative distance of EIGRP is 90, which is less than both administrative distance of RIP and administrative distance of OSPF. So EIGRP routes will be preferred over these routes, and EIGRP uses reliable transport protocol for sending messages. So EIGRP calculates its metric by using bandwidth, delay, reliability and load. So these are the metrics of this EIGRP protocol, which is bandwidth, delay, reliability and load, and also MTU. By default, only bandwidth and delay are used when calculating the matrix. So by default, it only calculates bandwidth and delay. Other matrix remains disabled. If you want, then you can enable. While reliability and a load are set to 0. So ERGRP uses concept of autonomous systems. An autonomous system is a set of ERGRP enabled routers that should become ERGRP neighbors. And each router inside an autonomous system must have the same autonomous system number configured. Autonomous system defines the routing boundary of a routing domain, and that numbers are unique and provided by ISP. So your company will get a unique ID, unique number from the ISP, and that will be for your company, and you will use it on all your routers which you configured. So with all your router which is you configure in your network, that will consider in your autonomous system number, and that will be, you have to configure it with EIGRP, then you have to mention the autonomous number. So when we are configuring the EIGRP, then we have to mention the autonomous number also. And otherwise routers will not become the neighbors. So for becoming the neighbors, this is also important information we have to configure. Now EIGRP neighbors. So EIGRP must establish neighbor relationship with other EIGRP neighboring routers before exchanging routing information. To establish neighbor relationship, router sends hello packets every couple of seconds, which is default 10 to 15 seconds. So hello packets are sent to the multicast address of 224.0.0.10. Now why they use multicast, not broadcast? Because they want to communicate to a particular routers. They don't want to communicate to every router. So all the EIGRP running routers will receive these packets on this same IP and sends the packets on this same IP. The following fields in the hello packets must be identified in order for routers to become neighbors. So when you want to become neighbors, so just like OSPF, you have some criteria for creating the neighbors. So first criteria, these informations are already into the hello packet. So when two routers communicate to each other and they exchange the routing information, then they exchange with their information, then they send the hello packets. In the hello packets they send these informations. So it sends what? ASN number, like autonomous system number, and subnet number, K values, component of matrix. Then router sends hello packets every couple of seconds to ensure that the neighbors relationship is still active. By default, router consider the neighbor to be down after a hold down timer has expired, and hold down timer is by default 3 times the hello interval. On a LAN network, the hold down timer is 15 seconds. That means update timer is 5 seconds. So first they create neighbor. For example, what happened? This is the topology, for example. So this is router 1, this is having fast Ethernet with this network and either serial on this network, and this is the network. Now when we enable EIGRP first, so what happened? This router 1 will send hello packets to router 2, and router 2 will send the hello packets to router 1, because they are connected directly within this serial link. With this serial link they are connected directly. Actually it also sends the hello information to this side, but from this side they will not get any reply, because here we have switch, we don't have any router which is running OSPF. Now when they receive the hello informations, hello packets, so first they see the information inside the hello packet to create the neighborship. So first criteria to create neighborship is what? The autonomous system number. That means both the router must be in same autonomous system number. So whatever the autonomous system number we configured on router 1, we have to have same autonomous system number on router 2. It is not like a process ID of OSPF, and even not like a area also. Two different areas can be communicated without any other configurations. But if your routers are in different autonomous numbers, they will not be able to communicate. So for creating the neighbors also, they must be same autonomous number. Then the network, they are connected together, like this is the network where these two routers are connected, must be in same subnet. Now same subnet means same network, or same subnet means if you are having subnet, so they must be in same subnet. So in this case they are in network 20. You can see it is also 20 and this is also 20. Then the other thing is what? To match, also they must have hello interval, like how much, what is the hello interval, like how they are sending, after how many seconds they are sending the hello packets. So this must match, these three things must match to create the neighborship. So they do what? They create neighborship based on these three criteria, and they must be matched. After matching these criteria, they create the neighborship, and they will declare each other as a neighbor. Now in OSPF, what happened after the creating of neighborship? They do what? They do elections, and they do find out the DR and BDRs. Here we don't have like this. After directly creating the neighborship, they will exchange the routing information about their network. So router one will send like what are the networks it has connected and what is the matrix of that connected. Now here in OSPF we have only single matrix, that is cost. But here we have multiple, we have 5 matrix actually. We have bandwidth, we have delay, we have reliability, bandwidth, delay, reliability, we have MTU, we have load, and also we have MTU. So basically it is having 5 metrics. What are these metrics are? Metrics are like bandwidth. Bandwidth, that means first router sees that what is the bandwidth of that link to reach that network. But whether it is getting more bandwidth, if it is having multiple links, so which link is getting more bandwidth? More bandwidth it is getting. Then what is the delay? How much delay it is getting from that link? Like if it is wanted to reach some network, so what is the delay of that network? How much delay it is getting? Then it can check the reliability also. Reliability, that means is it the link is reliable or not? Reliable, that means sometimes those links are getting disconnected and connected. They can be flippering. So what if the links are like this flippering, then it will not choose that link. It will choose only the link which is reliable and constant. Then it can check the load also. Load, that means it can check that which link is getting more load, and I can put more load on that link. So if it is having multiple links to reach the particular network, so first it will check that whether which link is I can put more load, and also it check MTU, maximum transmit unit. That is what, that how much big packet it can send on that link. Maximum transmit unit, that means in a single unit how big unit it can send at a single time, at a single clock. So it check all these things before getting a proper path. Like when router 1 sends the information about its connected network or whatever the network, it is 10 and 20 to router 2. So router 2 will calculate these things and then it will add that thing into our routing table. So there is only one path here, but if it is having multiple paths, so it will choose best path based on this information. Then router 2 will send the information about its own network, like this connected network and with the matrix, and also it will send the network which is gets from router 1 to this router 3, and then router 3 will decide that what is the best path based on this matrix to reach some particular network. Now by default it does not have it is not enabled, all the metrics are not enabled. Only by default we have enabled is what? Bandwidth and delay. These metrics are not enabled by default, because if you have enabled these metrics also, then your router has to do lots of work and it can put a load on your router. So by default it is not enabled, but in case you want, then you can enable any of these metrics also. These metrics are denoted by K value. When you see the information about EIGRP, you will see like K, K1, K2, K3, K4, K5. Whether it is 0 or 1. 0 means it is disabled and 1 means it is enabled. So these values are there when we see the information. By default you will see only bandwidth and delay is enabled. Other metrics are not enabled, but we want, then we can enable. So every router will exchange the routing information and send it to other router, the neighboring router. Now out of those all networks, like router 3 gets information about all these network 10, 20, 30, 40. Now from that it will choose the best path and put it into the routing table, and then it will create the routing table. But before creating the routing table, it will create the topology table also. Now topology table, that means in this topology table it will store all the information related to all the available networks. Like if it has one network and reach up to 2 paths or 3 paths, so it will have information about all those paths into that topology table. And this is a benefit for EIGRP. For example, this is the our network, and we have multiple paths to reach this single network. This is the network I want to reach, and I have multiple different paths. Now we have 3 paths. So what is the best path here? We have this path. This path is best. We can say this one is best. These ones are bigger paths. Now what happened when the routing information it has, this router stores. So after it creates the neighbor table, that means it will get the neighbor table, have this neighbor and this neighbor. Then all these neighbors sends the information about its network to this router after creating the neighborship. Now within these 3 information, for this network it will get the information from all these 3 networks, 3 routers. This router will say, okay, I can also reach to this network. This router say, okay, I can also reach to this network. This router says, okay, I can also reach to this network. But now this router has to decide that which path we have to take. Now that path will be decided by the less matrix. Matrix is delay and bandwidth. So it will calculate the matrix. So it uses a formula to calculate that delay and bandwidth, and then it generates a unique value. So the value is less, then it uses the path, and if the value is more, then it will not use that path. Now in that case, first the routing table. Now EIGRP do what? It will create the topology table. So after neighbor table, it will create the topology table. Now in the topology table, it will not only store the best path. This is the best path we have. It will store this path also, and also it will store the other path. That means it will store the second best path also. Now what is the benefit of doing this? It is less convergence time. It is for less convergence time. Now it will store in the topology table the best path and all the other available paths. We can say all the second best paths. Now from the best paths, from all the three paths, from the topology table, it will store the best path in routing table, and that is, we can assume, this one. Now what is the benefit here? If in case this path is down, in case if this path is down, now if you are having configured RIP, then what it has to do, it has other paths, but it don't know about those paths. So what RIP do, it will recalculate everything, and after recalculating everything, the RIP comes to know that there is another path available and I can reach from that path also, and then it will add that path into the routing table. That means when you lose the network, for getting the network from other path, it will take lots of time, and that is what a convergence time, from losing the network to getting back the network from other path. Now if you are using OSPF will also do the same. If you choose the best path is already in the routing table, when the routing table loses the best path, when this path is down, then again OSPF has to recalculate everything. Recalculate all the cost, send messages, receive messages, talk to neighbors, do you know this, do you know that, and then it will come to know that there is another path which is I can reach to that network, and then it will add that into routing table. So again the convergence time is more than this, less than RIP but more than this EIGRP. Why? Because EIGRP do what? It is already having the information. That means in the topology table it is already having the information about the other paths. So when it loses the best path, so what it do, it does not have to recalculate everything. It has already the path available in the routing table, so it is have to just transfer the entry from routing table to a topology table to routing table. So it is not have to do what, recalculation. It is just have to transfer the entry from topology table to routing table, and it will take less than a second time, very less time. So that is why the convergence time for this EIGRP is very fast. So first it creates the neighborship, and after creating the neighborship, they will exchange the routing information, and all the routing information it will store in the topology table, and then from the topology table it will calculate the best path, and the best path will go into routing table. But still it will remain, the other paths will still remain in the routing table. It is called feasible distance and feasible route, and it is called this feasible and reported distance. Two terms that you will often encounter when working with EIGRP are feasible and reported distance. So what is the feasible distance? Is the metric of the best route to reach the network. The route will be listed in the routing table. It is your feasible distance. Then reported distance is the metric advertised by a neighbor router for a specific route, and it is other word, it is the metric of the route used by the neighboring router to reach the network. That means first the feasible distance is the distance which we have, the best path which we have in the routing table, and the reported distance is the distance which is reported by your neighbor, that I can reach the router to this distance. For example, EIGRP has been configured on router 1 and router 2. So router 1 is directly connected to the subnet 10 and advertise the subnet into EIGRP. Now let's say the router 2's matrix to reach that subnet is this 28160. Now when the subnet is advertised to router 1, router 2 inform router 1 that it is matrix to reach this network is 10. Now from the router 1's perspective, that matrix is considered to be the reported distance for the route. and router 1 receive the update and adds the matrix to the neighbors to the reported distance. That matrix is called feasible distance and is stored in router 1's routing table, and that is what 30720 after adding the its own matrix. So feasible distance is the distance which is available in the routing table, and the reported distance the distance which is reported by the neighboring router, that I can reach to this network by using this matrix like this. So the feasible and reported distance are displayed in this. Here you can see that router 1's is matrix is this, and for router 2 the matrix is this, and the network is here. This is the network which is 10.0.1.0. So it is connected to router 2, and for router 2 it is 28160. So router 2 will inform router 1 that I know the matrix for this network is 28160. So for router 1 the reported distance is this, which is reported by the router 2, and when it added its own distance into it, like what is the distance it is using here, so it will become 30720, and this is what feasible distance, which is the distance for router 1 to reach that network. We can show this topology table by show IP ERGRP topology command, and we can see that feasible distance and reported distance, and the table and the distance and the route which comes into the routing table, it is called successor. Another thing you will heard in EIGRP is what successor and feasible successor. So another two terms that appears often in the EIGRP world words are successor and feasible successor. A successor is the route with the best metric to reach a destination, and the route is stored in the routing table, and feasible successor is the backup path to reach that same destination that can be used immediately if the successor route fails, and these backup routes are stored in topology table. And for a route to be chosen as a feasible successor, one condition must be met, and a neighbor's, which is what a neighbor's advertised distance, that is AD, for the route must be less than the successor's feasible distance. That means when you have multiple paths, so the path which has best metrics, it will go into routing table, and all the other paths will go into topology table, and then topology table all the routes called feasible successor, and the successor will go to routing table, and feasible successor will have the only condition what a neighbor's advertised distance for the route must be less than the successor feasible distance. That means the router which is advertising that route, that matrix for that must be less than the successor one. So these are the terms of these EIGRP which you will heard many times, and you can see it when you run the show IP EIGRP topology command. You can see successor, and also you can see feasible successor if you are having multiple paths. If your topology is like this linear topology, then you will not see multiple paths, and you will not see successor or feasible successor, but you will see the distance and advertised distance. So we can see in this topology the concept of successor and feasible successor. This is the topology where we have router 1, 2, 3, 4 which is connected with these different networks, and this is the network here. Now we have two paths to reach this network. So router 1 has two paths to reach the subnet 10.0.0.0, which is this one, which is this network. Router 1 I can reach from here, from router 2 and router 3. Now the path through router 2 has the best matrix 20. So you can see here the matrix 10, and you can see it is 20 here. So best is 20. Then, and it is sorted in the R1's routing table. So it is added into routing table here. To reach this network, we can go by using matrix 20. Now the other route through router 3 is a feasible successor route, because the feasibility condition has been met that router 3's advertised distance of 15 is less than router 1's feasible distance, which is 20. So here it is advertising that I can reach up to 15, and basically this router is saying I can reach up to 10. So what is the best one? The 10 one is best, so it uses this one. But this one is also available, so this one will become a second best, and it will call feasible successor. Successor will go to routing table. So router 1 stores that route in the topology table. This route can be immediately used if the primary route is failed. So both the routes are available in the topology table. If router 2 gets down, then it can immediately take the other path. But in other hand, if you are using RIP or OSPF, it will have to recalculate everything. That is why it has a very fast convergence time, EIGRP. So basically in EIGRP topology table, what we have, it contains all learned routes to a destination. The table holds all route received from the neighbors, successor and feasible successor for every route and interfaces on which updates were received. The table also holds all locally connected subnets include in an EIGRP process. Best routes, the successors from the topology table are stored in the routing table, and feasible successors are only stored in the topology table and can be used immediately if the primary routes fail. So this is how the EIGRP works, and these are some things we have in EIGRP.